I mean, obviously our partnership and new partnership with SSBC around both the SSBC BWF World Tour and also our major events is obviously a significant partnership in terms of recognition of the sport. I mean, having a brand like SSBC, a global brand, a very well-respected brand within the banking industry, but also a brand that sponsors many different sports, high-level sports, is always, we are very proud that a brand like that is partnering with us together with our other partners. There's many obstacles when you want to develop a sport as a global sport. I think we have a footprint that is very global nowadays. Obviously, we're a very stronghold here in the Asian region because, I mean, there's been so many activities, so many good players coming out of Asia. But participation-wise, actually, in various different regions, I think we have a quite good approach. We have many players playing across Europe. We have many players actually nowadays growing very much in the Pan American region. So we are constantly trying to expand the footprint both at the grassroots level, getting more players just to play. Obviously, at the top level of the game, there's also more and more countries popping up, becoming better and better. And that's a sign of a long-term strategy with new young players coming in, playing the game and growing and becoming new world stars. But that takes a long time. And I guess the obstacles is that there's so many great sports out there and every sport have their own culture. So in a way, we have to break through that and show our sport and convince the young generation that we're the choice for them. Well, obviously, badminton is a very recognized sport in China. The Chinese population really embrace our sport. They know our sport, they play our sport, so they also follow the Chinese stars. But they also follow the international stars. So in terms of a global fan base, obviously we have a big fan base in China, which obviously then plays a role when partners choose to partner with us and obviously following also revenues. So it has a significant impact on a significant role to play in our business setup, but obviously also with us focusing on many other regions around the world. But no doubt China is the best nation at this time in badminton, although there's many other countries actually challenging them at the moment, which is a good thing for, I think, both China and the rest of our sport. But China does play a significant role, for sure. I think actually first and foremost it plays a big role because of the fan base. Because, I mean, through the fan base, different companies have an interest, sponsors have an interest in us. Clearly, on the broadcast market is also important for us. For us, it's as important to be shown to, I mean, it's a big country, there's billions of people in China, so that's very important to hold on to that fan base and be sure that they keep on being interested and follow badminton. So I think it's both the broadcast market and the sponsorship market that is important and drives a value. But first and foremost, it drives a value through the many fans we have in China. I think we are obviously doing that through presenting our sport better. We're doing that through presenting and producing more content. We're doing that by actually focusing on creating new stars for our sport, whereby the fans wants to embrace our sport. So we have a load of different activities that all are focused in creating more excitement, more engagement around our sport, still with a very big focus on the fans following our players, whereby I'm sure naturally the value of our sport will grow, interest from broadcasters grows with bigger fan interest. So that's really where we're focusing. Of course, we do that on a daily basis. That's what we are delivering as a federation as well. I mean, we have partners, and obviously our job is to create activities and help them activate whatever sponsorship they've bought with us. So we do that very much, yes. I mean, we work obviously very closely operationally on all tour events. So we have people at all the tour events where our people do not only service the sponsors that come in with the BWF, it also services sponsors and look for opportunities for the host So we work very closely with our hosts, which is typically our member federations, and help them in developing their knowledge within activation of sponsorship in terms of how they can service. And obviously we are, from the BWF side, producing TV, we're producing various different things, which helps the sponsors distributing TV on a global platform, which also in turn helps the local sponsors creating more value. No, I don't think as such we have a problem. We have a very evolving sport, a sport that grows in terms of number of events on the tour. We have weekly events. I mean, we have around 37 tournaments in our pyramid structure around the tour, and many of them are really high-level tournaments, also with a lot of prize money. I'm sure the players will tell you they like the prize money, and they like the growth of the sport for them to actually have a better living out of playing badminton. At the same time, however, it's also necessary to service the broadcasters, the sponsors, and so on, that obviously the players do play some tournaments. We're talking about really that there's a demand for the players on an annual basis where we have 52 weeks, where it's mandatory for them to play around 13 tournaments. So actually, when you look at it on a 52-week basis, it's not that many tournaments, although I do accept that it is hard for the players, especially the top players, to play. So in a way, we're trying to find a balance where it's also important for the players themselves, their coaches, the member federations, to balance on what they play and how they play it. And that's a learning for all of us, including themselves and the players. So they have to take choices, and probably different choices than what was the case before, because it is a changing world. And I'm sure the players would like to see the sport grow, more money, more opportunities. At the same time, it does mean that it's a changing world they need to adapt to. And probably that's a part of it until they learn how to do it. We are very focused on both the players' health, safety, but also at the same time we are very focused on giving players better opportunity to make a living out of our sport. And that's where the balance is between those two sides. You know what, it's a process for sure, and it'll be a process that will continue, where we need to learn, and the players will need to learn how to live in another more commercialized world. There's other sports where they play many more tournaments than what we do in badminton, much bigger sports, and that's part of the success of those sports. We're trying to grow steadily, safely. I wouldn't say there's two sides to this. The players, BWF, we are exactly on the same side. I think we have the same objectives. And we're just on a similar route to achieving bigger and better things. But of course, we all need to learn how to adapt to the new systems. I don't think that we're trying to make the time shorter, but we are trying to create bigger engagement and bigger excitement around our sport. And one of the things we are doing is that we are looking at changes to our rules and laws of badminton, whereby we are proposing a new system of scoring, a scoring system to play 5 games to 11 instead of 3 games to 21. And that's not so much just to make it shorter. It will be a little bit shorter, but it's first and foremost actually to create more excitement, more peaks, whereby the engagement of the fans should become better. So we're trying first and foremost actually to create excitement, engagement from fans through some changes to our sports system. And in turn that will also make the games a little bit shorter, but I don't think that's the main focus point. The main focus point is much more the engagement around our sport.